Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Nico here, and let's do some trading. We are 20 minutes into the UK session this morning, and market doesn't look too bad. I did a Forex review earlier. We had some really good trade opportunities between yesterday and this morning, and it looks like we're going to have a few more. But on the short term, we have very nice movement on the charts at the moment. Price is flowing. There's a lot of trade opportunities. So we're not going to talk too much. Just as always, guys, if you find this content useful, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and help us grow this channel so we can reach more people and help more people to trade efficiently and profitably. Okay, and don't forget the live stream channel. As always, link in the description below to that. We're going to be doing, I'm doing a live stream tomorrow. We're going to look at multi-time frame analysis and how that can actually benefit your trading and help filter out bad trades. So we're going to be looking at that. Make sure to join. You have if you join, it's live trading. We're going to be looking at live charts, so you've got the opportunity to ask questions as we go along. The chats are always open, so make sure to join. But for now, let's go to the chart and see what is happening. We've had some beautiful flow on Euro USD this morning. This was the opening salvo for the UK session kicking off. We did see some movement there. This looks like it's going to be a very nice buy trade. We might get a nice buy trade here just now. So I'm going to wait and see what this candle does, this 1 minute candle. Maybe it'll form something for us, maybe not. I like what's happening here on the 1 minute. So what I need now basically is just an excuse to take a trade off the 10 seconds. But we will wait for a signal from one of our strategies. If you're new here and this is the first video that you are watching on my channel, just a quick overview. We've got on our charts, we've got 3 moving averages. It's a 50, 100, and 200 moving average. We've got the ADX, the stochastic, and the RSI on those as well. All of these are set to a 14 period. We'll set to 14 period. So on most platforms, that will be the default value. But as you can see, ADX is 14, stochastic is 14.33, RSI is 14. So yeah, I've also got Bollinger Bands on here. These are set also to a 14 period and a 2 standard deviation of 2. Right, so we're using a couple of different strategies while we're trading. We've got 3 main strategies we use, which is divergence. We're also looking for corrections when price is trending. We're looking for corrections where the RSI, where price makes corrections, and then at the same time the RSI rejects off the middle line, like this here. This would have been a decent trade, especially since it happened in the Bollinger Bands, right on the Bollinger Bands and just below the moving average, which serves as support and resistance areas, dynamic support and resistance areas. So we're using that, and then we're also looking for DI spikes with the ADX, where the ADX is at a very low value, but we get a huge DI spike. That will be DI plus or DI minus, depending. And then when this happens, we know there's a relatively good chance that price will reverse in the immediate future. So we can get the opportunity to do a quick reversal trade as well. So those are the 3 main strategies we're using. We are using different things as well. Those of you that watched yesterday's video, you would remember we were waiting at some point for a very specific Bollinger Band setup that ended up not playing out. But here's a very good example of how it did play, of that specific thing we were looking for. That specific setup occurred here. So when price is moving downwards like this, And the truth, the same will be true for upwards movement, but this was a sell trade, so I'm going to explain it as it is here. But if you're doing buy trades, you're just going to, it's the exact same rules, it's just flipped around. So what happened was price was running downwards. It was in a bearish move and it was hitting the lower Bollinger Bands. After a while, price turned around and went straight up back again to the upper Bollinger Band. The key thing here is to wait for price to hit the upper Bollinger Band, but when it does, very importantly, the Bollinger Bands must still be closing, right? They mustn't be opening up, or they mustn't be parallel to each other. If you are unsure whether they're closing or they're parallel, it means you shouldn't take the trade. But when this setup does occur, and I use this on the 1 minute chart, right? I ignored it on the 10 seconds chart. But when this setup occurs, this will be an immediate sell for me. So as soon as price hits, I will take a 1 minute sell. But it's crucial that the Bollinger Bands must still be closing. Okay, so, and the opposite will also be true. If price was going upwards and running on the top Bollinger Band, and then just turns around and comes right back down to the bottom one, if the bands are still closing, we're going to take an immediate buy trade as soon as it hits. But this was a sell trade. That was the entry point. As soon as price hits the Bollinger Band, I take a sell, and I take a 1 minute sell. This won't be a 5 minute sell, because quite often a 1 minute sell will be profitable, but then after that price continues to climb, and that's the reason I ignored it on the 10 seconds, because the lowest expiry period I can take is a 1 minute trade. So 1 minute is not enough if this setup occurs on the 10-second chart, but 1 minute is enough if it occurs on a 1 minute chart. You can also, if you're watching a 5 minute chart, you can look for the exact same setup if you're watching 5 minute charts, and you can immediately take a 5 minute trade then. So keep your time frame or your trade expiry the same as the time frame of the chart you are watching, and that's the reason we don't look for this specific setup on a 10-second chart. Let's see if we can maybe find an example of a buy trade. So this would not be something we would trade, because this the bands weren't closing when price turned around, but we are looking for a buy opportunity. Doesn't look like we had one. So here's a decent example as well. This was way early this morning, but price was running downwards in the lower Bollinger Band, turned around, went straight up and hit the upper band. Let me just switch off auto scroll. Sorry about that. Came back up, hit the upper band, and it is very clear that when this occurred, the bands were still in the process of closing. They weren't equal or parallel or opening up. They were still very much closing, and if you took a 1 minute trade, as soon as that candle hit, would have been a good trade. And this is the reason why I don't take longer trades on longer expiries, because this happens quite often as well. So it's always just whatever the time frame is that I see this on, it will be the option trade will be for that same expiry as the candles. I'm hoping to find a buy trade, an example of a buy trade with the same setup, but it doesn't look like there was one recently. This is whenever I see this happen, I take a trade without even thinking about it. But you won't get a lot of entries using this method. What? No. You won't get a lot of entries using this strategy throughout the course of the day, but that's the main reason also the Bollinger Bands are on my chart. If I do see this occur or this setup occur, I don't even think twice. I simply take my trade. It's a very profitable strategy. You will see that it has a very decent win rate, but like I said, it does not happen often. So you're not going to get a lot of entries throughout the course of the day, but it's great as an auxiliary strategy. Okay, so yeah, that's the strategies we use. Bollinger Bands, we also, I think on Monday, we had a beautiful Bollinger Band squeeze trade. If you're unfamiliar with Bollinger Squeeze, you can watch Monday's video where I explained how it works, or if you don't want to watch the video, you can just do a Google search for Bollinger Squeeze, and you will get a lot of results, or you can ask ChatGPT if you want, or whatever. If you're using AI often, you can actually use AI to, there's a lot, Gemini, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, there's a bunch of them that's actually pretty good, Claude as well. So you can maybe just ask an AI to explain, and then, if there's something that you're unclear about, ask it to display that specific, or explain that specific point, and it will explain that specific point in a lot more detail. So that's a good thing to use as well. If you guys, anybody watching this, and if you haven't started playing with AI, I suggest you start doing it. It can be really, really helpful. So yeah. But that's mainly the stuff we're going to be doing. And other than that, we're just going to be sitting here very relaxed and very patient. We're going to look for some, we're going to see if we can find some trades. This is, for a second there, I thought we're going to get some divergence setup, a divergence setup here, but it's definitely not. So no real divergence setup in the time that we've been doing this video. We're 12 minutes in at the moment. And but let's see how it goes. It's market movement has been looking good. Like I said, it's been good this morning. And we also when I did the previous video, or when I did the forex video earlier this morning, I did that like 2 hours ago, I think. There was some beautiful movement. So this should turn out to be a good day. Lots of entries if the market keeps moving as it is. So we should get a lot of entries, we should get a lot of trades, and yeah, that would be awesome. I missed out on Monday and Tuesday was super, super bad for me, in the sense that we were struggling in the area with electrical issues. Power kept going out, so we were without power for most of the day, Monday and Tuesday, and running off. I had to use the generator and stuff like that. So it's been a bit frustrating. I didn't really get to trade as much as I wanted to. And this is the first week of the year. So it's kind of a bad start. But the trades we did actually get in were good so far. We did have good trades. It's just I didn't get to spend nearly the amount of time that I actually wanted in front of the charts this week so far. Looks like the stuff is sorted out though, and we'll keep our fingers crossed. But yeah, so the market's been good, but I wasn't really able to trade this week, not trade as much as I wanted to. So yes, I don't see anything setting up at the moment. We've got some downwards movement. At the moment, I will be keeping an eye out for, we most likely will get a divergence entry. Should be the first type of trade we pick up. When the market's flowing like this, it's always beautiful. And yeah, the volume is starting to return. We're going back to normal. It really, although the holidays period was nice to relax a bit, 3 weeks is too long for me, and I start getting anxious if I'm can't do much. So yeah, I really think it's going to be a good year though. I really do think. Also, guys, keep in mind, while we don't have a setup forming on the charts at the moment, keep in mind that we will be seeing next week and the week after, we're going to see a fair amount of increase in volatility on the charts. We do have the presidential inauguration on the 20th. So keep that in mind. Stay cautious. Remember to check your economic calendars every day. Before you start trading, even, I would recommend. Let's go to just quickly check this out. So this is what I do every day before, or I check every day before I start trading. I open up the economic calendar, and then I just look for events that I think might have a massive impact on price movement, and I avoid taking option trades just before or during data releases like this. So this one should be a fairly big one, these two, but that's only in 5 hours time. This data is going to hit, so this is not going to influence us now, but it will. This will definitely move the market quite a bit. So just be cautious, but remember to check your economic calendars as well every day, just so you don't get caught off guard. I see so many people when there's a data release and the market reacts wildly. Almost all the people that I see trading, that I see in chat rooms or forums, are always caught off guard by this, and you will always see people, what happened now, what is happening and stuff. And it's economic data that was scheduled for a release, and if you check your calendar, you will not be caught off guard. Okay, so remember to do that. But yeah, we're going to see, I really think we're going to see a massive increase in volatility, especially around the inauguration. And I think once the inauguration is done, we should see on a larger scale, we should see the dollar strengthening quite a bit in the coming months. I did say earlier this week, I will not be surprised if Euro USD sees parity in first or second quarter of this year. It would not surprise me. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying it would really not surprise me. I'm really bullish on the dollar at the moment. I think the dollar is going to strengthen quite a lot over the next few months. But we'll see what happens. Remember, we don't trade predictions. We trade what the market shows us. And we take what the market gives us. We do not predict. That's impossible for us to do. We simply follow. So, yes. I'm not seeing any divergent setups anywhere, which sucks. But I'm pretty sure we'll get a decent entry soon, at least. We should get something soon, at the very least. Might form something might form here. Let's just see. If price goes down to this area here and starts pushing back, I suspect we will see a bullish divergence forming. Although hanging in the air like this, I don't really like. We do have a kind of like a flag forming here, which is not good for buys. When we have a flag forming in a trend, we consider that. You know what? Let's draw it in. Yeah, let's go for that. So when we're in a move and we see a flag forming like it is here. Okay, so no, I need to flip you. So a flag would be, we're in a move and then price forms a small little channel. Usually we'll see this in bigger moves as well. And especially on higher time frames, you will see this quite often. But price runs in a certain direction, it rests for a bit. We can, if we are able to draw a channel like this, usually it will break to the bottom side. Not always, right? But usually it will. And there's, if it does, there's a trade opportunity, but we have to wait for it to actually do this. We're not going to assume that it will happen. Actually, we might get this setup we were talking about earlier. We might get a trade here. We might get a sell trade up here. Maybe. If we see a big green candle now, that will be a good entry for me, but it needs to hit the upper band. Let's see if that happens. Anyway, so if you see a pattern like this, or quite often you will see it's a triangle that forms. Let's just see if we get an trade entry here. If we don't, I'll look for a quick example of triangles as well. I didn't quite go far enough. To have a pretty decent DI spike here. Let's see, if this pushes back though, I'm going to take a sell. We have 15 seconds left. Let's just see how this candle closes. I'm going to take it on this side because I want to do a 1 minute trade. Let's just see how the candle closes, right? So we have two possible scenarios where we're going to get, there we go. Let's remove this. And while we wait for this trade to play out, I'm going to change that. Oh, did I put, I think I put auto scroll back. Yes, I did. So let's see if we can find a decent move on the 1 minute. Although I doubt we're going to find one today. But yesterday we had huge, we had a lot of big moves, big runs. Let's see if we can find an example. So this is just something you guys can look out for. Again, as something to use as a strategy by itself, you won't get a lot of entries. This trade is turning out good. Fantastic. There we go. Lovely. But you will see this a lot on higher time frames as well, especially on higher time frames. Let's go to a 1 hour chart. Okay, 1 hour charts is not going to work with this. Let's go back to 1 minute. But basically the idea is that if you are in a big run, quite often you will see that the price pauses for a little bit. It will form a little channel or maybe a little bigger triangle where it just stays inside the triangle. Then we look for breaks of that channel or triangle, and it will usually be in the direction that price was moving before it formed. Once it does, we can actually take trades in the direction of the trend. But it's something we need to wait for. Okay, so I hope you guys understand why I took this trade. The reason I took this was we had price run up, came down all the way here, and from there it went up again, tapped the top Bollinger Band, but these bands were still closing. Okay, so if this happens, I take trades. I'll take a trade in the opposite direction, like it was coming from below, hitting the top band, but both bands were still contracting, so I just took a sell trade because usually this will bounce downwards. And notice that I only executed my trade when the candle touched the upper band. Okay, so it was close for quite some time, but it never touched, and only when it touched, I executed my trade. So if you do want to utilize this strategy or incorporate it into your trading, make sure you wait for the band for price to actually touch the band, and remember you have to both bands must be closing. If there's any doubt in your mind, leave the trade. If you cannot see if the bands are parallel or opening, parallel or closing, if you can't distinguish it, just leave it. But if the bands are very clearly still closing sharply, that's when I take the trade, like I did here. I always take these kinds of trades, but it needs to come from the one side to the other side. Keep that in mind as well, right? So price was at the here from the bottom, came up all the way through to the top, to the upper band, and all the conditions were met, and I took my trade and executed it. Okay, so please, if the conditions are not met, it will significantly impact your win rate with this. Anyway, let's see if we can find some more. Although I am super cautious at this moment, I suspect we're going to see some more downside now. That's just what it looks like. Looks like it's doing. But again, I'm not going to take any trades now just because I think price is going to do something. Because that would be me trying to predict what is going to happen. And we do not do that here. We follow price and we wait for entries, valid entries from our strategies. Sure. But it's a lot better. Today's a lot better than yesterday and Monday. We didn't find a lot of entries when I was busy making these videos, but we're not even half an hour in, and we already have a we already had a good trade in. So it's going to be a good year, guys. It's going to be a good year. The economy is going to pick up in the US. We're going to see a lot of good things happen this year. All we need to do is stick to our strategies. We just need to stick to our stuff, have the discipline to execute it, have the discipline and patience to wait for our trades, execute them when they set up. It's as simple as that. If you're going to have the best strategy in the trading strategy in the world, if you do not have the discipline, it doesn't matter how good it is, it will make you wait. Right? It doesn't matter what strategy you use. You will wait for trades. You will wait for setups. There's no strategy that's going to give you a trade every 2 or 3 minutes. No, none. So it doesn't matter what you use, what trading strategy you use. If you don't have the discipline and patience to wait and execute trades, you're going to lose money with it. And it's something a lot of people struggle to come to terms with. But there's so many videos out there that shows people how to make money very quickly. And, I see so many videos where people have like $100 or $1,000 and they just do all in trades, and they go like, if you win 5 trades in a row, you can have this much money. It's such utter bullshit. It's clickbait, and so many people fall for it. That's not how trading works. It's not how it works, and it will never be how it works. We have very decent win rates on this channel. If you guys watched the previous videos, we have very decent win rates, and we get rewarded for our patience. We had such beautiful forex trades play out yesterday. Since I made the video to this morning, so many beautiful trades, so many beautiful trade opportunities. But we waited for our trades, we waited for the setups. Some of those setups we waited 3 or 4 hours to finish executing and set up properly. But it was worth it. And you must have the patience and the discipline to wait for your strategy to give you an entry. And then also you must know what that entry looks like. All the strategies we use here, if you take this this Bollinger Band strategy that I explained just now, there is no uncertainty about what it must look like. We have clear conditions for entering a trade using that specific strategy, as do we for all the other strategies we use while trading on this channel, while I'm trading, while I'm making these videos. All of the strategies have clear, defined rules. We don't have to wonder at any point, should I take this trade or should I not take this trade? So you need to have a strategy that is clearly defined. You need to know when you have to enter the trade and when not to. Okay, so there's 3 conditions for the Bollinger strategy. They are very simple, but they need to, all 3 of them must be met before we enter a trade, or before we take a position. And we wait for them to be met. If they're not met, we don't take the trade. Okay, so that's the discipline and patience you need. If you do not have that, your strategy is irrelevant. Doesn't matter what the win rate is, you will lose money. So keep that in mind. If you know you struggle with discipline and or patience, there's options, there's stuff you can do to alleviate that in your personal life. For me, meditation worked wonders. Since I started doing that, my patience and discipline increased a lot. But different things work for different people. There's no fix-all solution for this. That's something everybody needs to look into themselves on their own and find a solution. Again, I mentioned AI earlier today. If you don't know, if you don't have the knowledge today, if you don't have knowledge about anything today, there's zero excuse. You can go ask ChatGPT something simple like, what practices or changes can I make in my life to improve my discipline and to be a more calm person? Something like that. And you will get stuff that you can read up, knowledge you can learn, things you can do. The information is out there. You just need to go get it. And with AI, especially with AI today, it's so simple. And you can do it for free. It doesn't need to cost you money. It's going to cost you effort and it's going to cost you time. Yes. But if you want to make it, that's part of the game. Right? Nothing comes by itself. So if you know you're struggling with discipline and patience, find the solution. It's out there. There are many solutions for many different solutions for different people. We might get a sell trade here. Let's just see. This is confirmed. This is definitely a hidden bearish divergence set up at the moment. It's forming, but it hasn't finished forming. I have to wait for my stochastic to turn downwards, and at the same time I have to make sure that this price, the high that's forming here, doesn't exceed this high here, because this was my most recent high. And if I get in now, although I can see it's very clearly will form bullish divergence if it doesn't exceed this level, and if we do turn down, although I can see it clearly will form, I can't get in here because I think it's going to form. I have to wait for it to execute. The high was, this is why we don't jump the gun. This is a beautiful example of why we don't get into trades early. When price was still here, it was bullish, hidden bearish divergence, but price kept pushing upwards and the divergence voided. So it's not anymore, so we can't take the trade. Okay. And if I did jump the gun, I would have been burned, because this would have been a 1 minute trade because it's formed on the 10-second chart. And if I did get in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I would have already been out of the trade and I would have lost it. Okay, so we don't jump the gun. We wait for our setups to execute. There's no setup forming right now. We might see, no, we're probably not going to see. I was thinking we might see a little pullback here to this area and then a push further, and if it does play out like that, we might see the stochastic come back all the way down and form hidden divergence, but this level is way too low. All right, so we're probably not, even if it does form the setup on price, that it probably won't form. We won't be able to see it on the stochastic, so that's not going to be a trade for us. But I do suspect what's going to happen is we're going to come back to this area here and then push up forward, push up further. But this is not something we can trade at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't have an entry from my strategies, a very clear entry, so I'm not going to be taking any trades. And this is, I did touch on this on Monday. This is something a lot of people need to watch out for, because quite often if you jump the gun or you take a risk you shouldn't have, you will get it. You will see that this is a good example. Exactly what I was thinking is going to happen is happening right now, right? And a lot of you will be sitting wondering, if only I took that trade. If I took that trade, I would have. Why didn't I take it, right? So I clearly could see what's busy happening, and I knew more or less what's going to happen because I can identify some of the patterns, but I didn't have an entry from my strategy. Okay, so, and this is a trap that a lot of people fall into. If I took that trade now, if I took a buy here, when I said, I think we're going to push up and, see this happen. If I did take a buy here, this thing came down now, but let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if I took a buy on any one of those two red candles, it would have been a winning trade. But if I did this, I would have created a false sense of skill, false sense of ability in myself, thinking that I can actually see what's going to happen. And then I start taking more trades because I think this is going to happen and I think that's going to happen. And then you start taking trades without a strategy because you think you can actually see what's going to happen. So quite often you will get rewarded. If I took this trade, I would have been rewarded for it. I would have won it. But it wasn't inside my strategy. And it's not sustainable. This was a pure gamble. And we don't gamble when we trade. A lot of people gamble when they trade, make no mistake. But I've got my strategies. I know that they are profitable. I know they've got a high win rate. I don't have to, to worry about that. I know that I'm going to lose a couple of trades. It doesn't bother me. There's a lot of my videos, almost all the videos that I make, I end up losing a trade or two as well. But the win rate is always higher than my losing rate, loss rate, my rate of loss, whatever. But if I start taking trades like this one here, like this here, because I think it's going to do something, it's a coin flip. It's a 50-50 chance because you don't have a strategy. You're not operating in line with your strategy. You're just taking a guess, and over time that's going to average out to a 50-50 win rate. That's not profitable, not on options. Okay, so please don't fall into that trap. Stick to your strategy. Make sure you've got very clear and defined entry conditions for trades, and stick to it. Simple as that. And that's why I didn't take this trade. I did not have a clear entry on. There was no reason for me to take it because I didn't have an entry from any one of my strategies. Kind of looks though, it kind of looks like we're gonna get bullish divergence set up here. Maybe on the 1 minute. We might. At the moment, it's valid. It could go void yet. It's still not there. Right, I'll take it if it forms. But at the moment, it's not there yet. Now it is. Okay, so I'm going to take a 5-minute buy. Because we had bullish divergence, my indicators were making higher lows, while price made a lower low. Since it formed on the 1-minute chart, I'm taking a 5-minute expiry. Right, because we need a few candles for divergence to play out. We don't trade one candle on a divergence setup. So if we see it, if it forms on a 10-second, I take a 1-minute trade because that's going to be 6 candles from the time I take it, because it's 60 seconds in a minute. And then it's 10-second candles, so there's 10-second candles in a minute, and well, 5-minute trade on 1 minute. But I need a few candles for it to play out. It's pushing down, but we'll see. The divergence is there. As I just said just a short while ago, we do lose some trades here from time to time, and we don't get excited. I'm not going to take another trade. If I lose this, I'm not going to take another trade immediately just because I lost some money. I'm not trading massive amounts. My amounts are a small percentage of my capital, so I'm not under the stress of losing half my balance or stuff like that. You should never trade that big, not even 10% of your balance. Please don't. Also, again, something I discussed in previous videos. I actually did a live stream on money management. Now it helps you. Our proper money management allows you or helps you to reduce stress levels and reduce anxiety and fear from trading. So if that's something you experience, go watch that video. It actually was a good one. Lots of helpful information there on how our proper money management can actually help you relax while you trade. But anyway, so I'm not freaking out. I know I'm going to be losing trades throughout the day. That's not something that bothers me. I'm not going to take another trade immediately. My next trade won't be bigger, so I recover my money that I lost on a losing trade. We don't worry about losing trades at all, because I know overall my win rate is pretty decent. I know that there is no 100% strategy. It doesn't matter what anybody says. No strategy is going to give you a 100% win rate. I've got my strategies and I execute my entries when I see them. If my strategy gives me a trade signal, I take it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so yeah, this looks like it might be going in a good direction for us. It's being stubborn a bit, or being a bit stubborn, but that's fine. That's not a problem. Even if I lose this, it's fine. We'll find some more entries. In the meantime, I am looking at other trades. Let's see if we find something. Quite often when I'm sitting in a trade, and this is something I'm really guilty of, if I'm sitting like I'm sitting now in a 5-minute trade, quite often I will get so focused on watching the trade get executed, whether it's win or loss, it doesn't matter, but I get super focused on it that I miss entries on the 10 seconds. So let's try not to do that. If I do get a valid entry on 10 seconds, I will take another trade. I will not take a bigger trade because it looks like this is winning. There's big distinction there. I will, but I will, if I do get a valid entry on 10 seconds, for example, while I'm in a 5-minute trade, I will just take a 1-minute trade. We might actually have another one of those Bollinger setups here forming. We were at running in the bottom, price leveled out, it's coming up to the top one. It hasn't hit yet, but if it does hit here, we'll just jump into another 1-minute trade, and that will be a sell trade. Regardless of where this is going, this one is at the moment. If that hits, I'll take the sell trade. It didn't, so no trade, it seems. And also, if this candle closes red now, there's a good chance that the Bollinger Band should start leveling out and opening up again. Even if price does push up now, I really doubt that we're going to get a decent trade. We need a big green candle. We need a close, big green close here, but I don't think that's going to happen. It didn't. But the buy trade was good after divergence. That's awesome. Okay. We might get this here. This is going to be a sell because I've got, I'm just going to wait for this stochastic here to close. This is divergence and it's happening right in an area on the 1-minute chart where I also want to take sells, but I'm just going to wait for this to confirm. And waiting just 5 or 10 seconds makes a massive difference sometimes. Oh, that's a big push down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the sell here. So my divergence got confirmed on the 10 seconds. And we had the setup here that I explained earlier as well on the 1 minute chart, where price goes from the one side of the Bollinger Bands to the other side, taps the top, taps the opposite band while the bands are still contracting. So I've got two sell signals on two different time frames. So I'm taking my trade. And again, like I say, win or lose doesn't matter. I executed my strategy, and that's all I need to do. That's all we keep doing the whole day. It looks like I'm going to lose this one. Yup. This happens. And it's fine. We had two good trades already. We lost the first one now. Or this was our first loss, but it's fine. Just wait for the next one. We just relax and wait for the next one. This was technically divergence as well. These two peaks here. This is an area where I need to be very, very cautious because I tend to, excuse me, we all do this, and we tend to look for an excuse to validate the trade we lost. So I need to be very careful that I'm not seeing something, seeing a trade entry just because I want to see a trade entry now. So I'm going to relax. This was valid divergence as well. Did see it too late. This is not the time to get in anymore. So even if it does play out, that entry is gone. So I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, I'm going to focus on finding new entries. This might turn into a decent push here. If this closes down, I'm going to take a sell. I'm definitely going to take a sell like that, because those kind of divergence setups is beautiful. But I need this to close. I need this to close properly. I'm going to give it another candle. If this candle closes like this, I'll just tap a sell. There we go. Ooh, nice. Got it higher than I thought I'm going to get it. Okay. So this should be good. This should be fine. I love those little, I don't know, I don't have a term for it, but it's like a little stochastic jump. It's divergence, but it's like the stochastic just makes a little jump. I love those setups. Don't see them too often, but when they form on a 10-second chart, I love taking them, and that's exactly what formed here. So yeah, and this is why we wait for trades for setups again. Imagine if I lost the previous trade that I lost. Imagine if I got upset about it and took another one, lost it again, and then took another one, lost it again, and then only to give up and say, okay, fine, I'm going to stop trading, only to see the price drop like this, and then be like super depressed because I took 3 trades and it lost. And just after I stopped taking the trades taking trades because I thought this was going to happen, just right after that, look at that, the market drops, and now I'm not in the market. I don't have a trade, so I'm not making any money on this drop that I knew was going to happen. That is a very dangerous way of thinking, right? We fall into those traps. If you lose a trade, accept it. Wait for your next trade setup. Wait for your next strategy setup and execute it. Okay, so I lost the trade here, left the next and left it, saw another trade saw another setup from my strategy, a valid setup from my strategy, waited for it to form and executed it, and got rewarded for the patience that I had for waiting for that strategy to hit. We were just on 20 minutes. How are we on 50 minutes now? I can't believe this video is 50 minutes long already. Okay, so guys, it was a great kick-off start to the day. We had 4 trades through the course of this video. We got 3 of them. We won. One of them didn't work out for us, but it's still we're still up. So yes, I'm gonna cut this video short. I'm gonna get some trading time in, try to recover some of the trading time that I lost yesterday and Monday. So I'm gonna focus on charts for a bit. But I'll see all of you tomorrow, normal, usual time when I'm doing these videos. And also remember, jump into tomorrow's live stream. We're going to look at multi-time frame analysis in detail and how you can take advantage of looking at different time frames and how it can help you increase your win rate. Oh, excuse me. Until then, guys, as always, trade smart and trade safe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Cheers.